Y'all, I'm back. You guys ready for the shenanigans or no? Because I got so much tea. You hear me? So, I just wanted to clear the air because I know a lot of my friends worry about me, and a lot of my friends are just nosy. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say what it is. So some of you already knew that I put on my Facebook a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, that I was in a relationship, and I was, and it was very quick. Okay. Probably a few days after we made it official online, it kind of ended. It was a bunch of things that we didn't agree with. He grew up differently than I did. But overall, and I'm not going to bash this man, overall, it had something to do with not necessarily compromising, but altering who you are to appease someone else. Now, someone is going to love you for who you are, period. Like, you shouldn't have to change who you are, whatever, unless it's for the better. Like, there's nothing wrong with change. There's nothing wrong with evolving. You change every day. Your perspective on life changes every day. But I'm going to try to say this the best way I can, because it might sound dirty to some people, but when you are trying to fake your relationship with the Lord to appease someone, it's not going to help. Anyone who dates me, I try to I try to start out the relationship with saying, you will not be able to love me unless you love God first. I always do that because at the end of the day, I feel like my heart is after the Lord. And so the choices I make, all the decisions I make, like, it's usually biblically based. Like, I'm not going to be out here making crazy decisions, like, arguing with people, or I feel like I have a kind heart. Now, I know sometimes that some of the things that I say may come off a little aggressive or wrong, but my intention is never to really hurt someone's feelings. But for instance, if you put something online and your intention may not be to hurt someone's feeling, but you also have to think about that other person's feelings before posting online. So a lot of things that I want to say online, I don't, because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You have to think about someone else. And before we parted ways, he said, I was even reading my word for you, but it's not for me. It's for the Lord. Your relationship should be for the Lord. And he also said that he understood what I was doing, that I was trying to push him, or he understood that I wanted him to see all perspectives, but he just wasn't about it. And that's fine. Like, everyone, I know that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but for my lady friends, just remember that you will be chosen. And you'll be chosen based on free will. Like, don't be worrying about, I feel like I gotta delete some of this stuff. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna try to rephrase this the best way that I can. To my lady friends, my single lady friends out here who are dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with when it comes to dating. Everything is about free will. And if the person is not where they are, where you want them to be, that is okay. And if they don't agree with some of the things that you do, it is okay. Like, this is the interview stage. Like, you can erase some things. You can also think about, are those things that are kind of mediocre that we have on our list that really shouldn't be on our deal breaker list? So just think about those things, because I know that there were things on my deal breaker list that were on there, and I'm just like, okay, that was kind of dumb. Like, let me take that off. But at the same time, like, make sure you hold up to your standard and that you don't try to lower your standard because you want companionship. That's it, and that's all that I have to say about that one. I pray he does well. I pray that I planted a seed. I pray that God convicts his heart to do what's right, because he knows things, like he knows everything. And he would say, I know I'm supposed to be doing that, but I don't want to, I can't, like, that's not who I am. So it's kind of like sin in general. A lot of times, like, a lot of us deal with, everybody has their struggles. I'm gonna say that. I have my struggles, but do I have a closed fist, or am I going to open my hand and give it to God and allow him to work with what it is? I feel like I'm mature in the faith, but I still have something that I struggle with, and I feel like everyone does. So I don't judge him. I pray for him, and I still want to love on him and show him that God can continue to take whatever it is that we struggle with and work it out. So that was a good take 2. So take 1 is going to be, I need to do some things with it. But I'm kind of happy with that. But yeah, and that's it. And that's all for that little segment on the dating piece. Like, yeah. But anyways, I wanted to talk about, today was Caleb's first day of school. And yesterday I was kind of like, I don't know if I was anxious or if I was like, I don't know what it was, but my heart just was not settled. And I think it was because pre-COVID, Caleb went to a private school, and I had planned for him to go to the private school through first grade. Now, COVID happened in the middle of kindergarten, and your girl was not about to be paying this tuition for him to be at home and y'all only doing reading groups, okay? So I pulled him out after the school year. I was able to save a buttload of money. I bought a house. Now, with that being said, virtual learning came with public school. And so he did all of first grade at home. I was the teacher. Well, the teacher was there, but it was really me being, I guess, an assistant teacher, because I was on Caleb's butt. He literally sat next to me. His desk was next to mine. I would have meetings. I would listen to him in school while I'm in the meeting trying to multitask. It was the hardest thing ever in life, but it had to be done because I knew my child was not going to fully focus while looking at a screen. I just knew he wasn't. But I was in my feelings a little bit because this is the first time he's going to a new school, brand new teacher. He's going to see his, people he hasn't met. It's like, I was feeling it for him. I don't even think he was feeling these feelings. I was feeling these feelings. And I know the friends that I know, or the friends that I have, they know that I'm pretty thuggish. But when it comes to my son, like, he gets me a little bit soft. So yesterday, I was just praying for him and just thinking about him. And one of my brother cousins, his mom used to watch me when I was younger. He said, you can't take him inside the school because people going to tease him or whatever. And I'm like, that's my baby. If I want to take him into school, I'm going to take him into school, period. But I forgot that because of COVID, they won't let any of the kids, any of the parents inside the school unless, like, if it's a special whatever. So I wasn't even allowed to take him to class. So I drove him to school this morning. We prayed. I prayed first. We pray every day. But I prayed first. And then I allowed him to pray. And he said, Mommy, we need to pray about bullying. And my heart was a little shook because it's like, I did all that praying. Of course, I prayed for just different things for him to be protected, for his classmates to be protected. But he remembered bullying, and he remembers how like how people treat each other. And so he prayed for that. And I was so thankful just thinking about what my little cousin said about someone teasing him for mommy taking him to school. And then, Caleb wanted to pray about it. But I'm so glad that Caleb has a very kind heart. And I feel like Caleb is going to impact his classroom this year, really, and that he'll be able to allow the other kids to have a kind heart as well. But I will say this, his teachers, like his kindergarten teacher and his preschool teacher, they always said that Caleb is an encourager, and that when he goes to class and someone's reading or someone's doing something and it seems like they're struggling, he's like, oh, you can do it. And he's high-fiving them, and it like builds them up, and then they're able to do it. And they said it actually changes the energy of the classroom. And so I'm just so thankful that my son is a good influencer. And so when you pray for your kids, just pray that they impact their classroom, that they influence the classroom in a good way. Because some of these kids out here, well, I know Caleb is not always on his best behavior, but for the most part, he is a very good influencer. So not just that your child is going to influence the classroom or impact the classroom, but they will do it in a good way. So yeah, but when I picked him up from school, scratch that. So when I was at work, all of my family, they kept calling me because they were worried about me today. Which they should have been, because I was feeling heavy-hearted after I dropped off Caleb to school. And I don't know what it was. And immediately I just started praying protection over him and over the school. And I don't know what it was, but I kept thinking about like school shootings and like, fire drills and all those things. I'm like, why do I feel this way? And I don't know if I was feeling that way because someone else was feeling that way, or it was just me, feeling that way. But I just had to pray a hedge of protection over Caleb, his class, and the school. And so if you ever find yourself like having a negative thought, of course you can speak against it, but also just pray against that thing. Like, I do believe that when we have those little inklings, or when we have a random thought or see something or think about someone, that there's a reason behind it. And so, yeah, I had to stop thinking negatively and just pray against whatever it was. But I'm going to call Caleb and have him tell you guys about his first day of school. Caleb, come here. Come here. What you doing? What you doing?
Nothing.
Okay. How was school?
School was good.
Good. You want to tell me about school?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
The first day, the first semester, we had to go line up. We had to do kiss and ride, and also walker, and also someone take the bus.
So, are you a kiss and rider, or you're a walker, or you take the bus? Which one?
Kiss and ride.
Yes, you are. So how was class?
It was good.
What did you learn?
This morning, we read a story.
You did? Do you remember the story?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember the story?
Yeah. The teacher won't show me there.
She didn't show you the book?
Yeah.
Were you paying attention to the story?
Yeah.
You were? Good job.
Yeah, but I wanted to show in the front so I can see the book.
That's such a good job. I'm glad that you want to pay attention.
Yeah, I had to sit in the back.
You had to sit in the back, but you wanted to sit in the front?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes that happens. Did you see any of your friends from last year? Some of them? A little bit? Okay. What did you eat for lunch?
I already told you. I ate french fries, chicken, rice, and also apple slices.
And it was good? Did you have chocolate milk today?
Yeah.
It was good, wasn't it? I know you like chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nobody doesn't like my white milk.
Nobody likes white milk? I don't really like white milk either, unless I'm eating cereal.
Do you like chocolate milk?
I like strawberry milk.
Do you like chocolate milk? I like strawberry milk.
You like strawberry milk too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you can go back and do what you was doing, okay, shorty?
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, there you have it. The 411 inside scoop of a second grader's first day of school. So, yeah, what else I need to talk to you guys about? I really, really wanted to talk about Better Me. Now, let me tell y'all, I was supposed to have somebody on here, and I said you was going to love it. It's a long story. And the next episode, y'all going to get all the tea, but I asked 2 people if they was going to do it, and their answer, I was just like, seriously. But anyways, I am going to be talking with my cousin today about being a better me. And I feel like her testimony is so powerful because, listen, when I think about let me scratch that. Let me start over. When I think about myself and being a better me, I always think about how I used to be. And nothing really shows you or humbles you of how you used to be than to see your Facebook memories. Because, child, please, when I say I had a potty mouth and I acted a hot mess, I did. I'm so, like, when I see Jesus, when I see it, it's so embarrassing. Like, why y'all ain't tell me I was out here acting ratchet like that? Like, the words that was coming out of my mouth, the drama that I was creating, the people I hung out with. Your girl was in the club Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and like recuperating on Sunday. Okay, like, oh Jesus. But I know that if the Lord can save me, He can save anybody out here. So that's why I really, really, really try not to judge people, because I'm in this place in my life, in my journey, doesn't mean that someone else, is not in that same place, further along, not as further along. And so I really try to remember, like, I used to be that. I used to act like that. So I try not to judge them. Like, I cannot stand it when a Christian or a believer, whatever you want to call it, wants to point out and say, oh, such and such ain't no Christian because he do this, that, or whatever, or she do this, that, or whatever. Okay, Ann, because when I was out here in these streets acting a hot mess, I loved the Lord, okay? You couldn't tell me I didn't. I knew that I was going to heaven. I'm still going there. I knew that I had the deepest relationship with the Lord. Hey, but I was twerking in the club, though. And that was, like, to me, that was okay. And I really try not to judge people based on what they're doing now, because I don't know how they grew up. I don't know what they're going through or their mindset. And I don't know what the Lord is doing in their life now. So, yeah, try not to judge the people based on what you see. Pray for them. It is so easy to be out here talking about, oh, you see her? Oh, she pregnant. She was just in church. Okay, that's another thing. So, one of my favorite artists recently said that he's no longer a Christian. And I don't know what all that entails. That's between him and the Lord. But I do know that a lot of people judged him. A lot of people kind of cast him down or was speaking about him negatively. Not once did he say that he did not believe in God. He said that he was no longer a Christian. I don't know the specifics of his of the reasoning of why he made the decision that he did, but I will say that he said that he felt like he was free when he decided to leave Christianity. And I remember feeling burdened. So when I found out I was pregnant with my son, listen, I was in the church. I was serving in the church. I was in ministry. I had position, all of that. But I struggled with something. I was doing stuff. It came out. So, I remember feeling so burdened in my heart to not just tell my parents, oh, yeah, I'm pregnant. I was 25. I'm an adult at this point. Not just to tell my parents I'm pregnant, but to tell my pastors, I'm pregnant with someone else who goes to this church. And I'm so thankful that they responded in a loving way and they accepted me and they didn't really reprimand me. Of course, they said, well, you know better or whatever. And I did. But at the same time, they didn't cast me out. They didn't make me feel bad. And so, but now I feel like a lot of the friends that I have, or a lot of the people that I know, that if someone comes out and says that they're struggling with something, I don't know if they would. Some of them, I know that I hang out with the group of people that are so loving. But I also know I know a lot of Christians, but I know some people would talk about them, would say, oh, this is what he was doing. I can't believe he was doing that. Well, you know what? Just because you're a Christian does not mean that you're not going to struggle with things. It's just that a lot of things that you live more free. And I feel like a lot of the burdens that I have, it's not that it's not there. It's just that a lot of them I give to the Lord. And I imagine that if I ever said that I got pregnant again, Lord Jesus, it's not about to happen, because ain't nobody about to be a single mama to another child. I'm trying to tell you, ring on my finger. You hear me? But let me keep going. If I ever was to say that I was pregnant again, I don't know the response that I would get from people. Or I'm pretty sure people are going to talk about. I'm pretty sure people talked about me before. People talk about me now. Like, they assume that when they see a 7-year-old with me, that I was married, that something, no, I was in the church. I have never been married. I have a child out of wedlock. And you know what? My child loves the Lord. He prays. I pray. And I feel like I am trying to raise this man of God with just a mom. It is so difficult, but I know that people talked about me. People still gonna talk about me. But you know what? People talked about Jesus, and they did what they did to him, and he was the perfect person. So just think about that when you are out here talking about how someone got pregnant, or someone is over here sleeping around, or somebody's over here struggling with whatever it is, whether it's gambling, gluttony, cheating, whatever. Just because they do it does not mean they don't love the Lord. It just means that they need help and that we need to pray for them. So yeah, I wanted to get that off of my heart, because I see the trolls, and it is just so annoying. And it's so discouraging to see brothers and sisters in Christ out here being Pharisees in these streets. Okay? That's what it is. Y'all out here being Pharisees. But I had to call a spade a spade. But anyways, hopefully I can get my cousin on the phone so she can talk about being a better her, because sis was out here throwing bows with dudes out here, okay? So let me see if I can get Tasha on the line. But yeah, I hope you enjoy our conversation. Hey, Tasha girl.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy finally doing this thing. Okay, so first I want to. How are you doing? Because I didn't even ask you that when I was on the
Well,
phone. My bad.
I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
Good, good.
How are you?
Okay. I'm good. I just got home. And when I got home, there was this lady knocking on people's doors talking about a roof. And I know she saw me coming, and I know she saw my face. Like, please don't ask me. I don't even want to tell you no, but don't ask me. Yeah. But other than that, doing pretty good.
Good.
Yep. So I wanted to chat with you about, we discussed a little bit yesterday about being a better me, but I wanted to talk to you because I just remember how we grew up and you were like the fighter of the family.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like just hearing stories about like, you're not about to play with Tasha, okay?
Absolutely not.
And even now it's like, even though you accepted Jesus fully and your life is different, you still don't mess with Tasha, okay?
Absolutely.
And you went from, throwing bows to like, really using your words and your speech and fighting in the spirit. And so I just wanted to talk about like, um I guess the old you versus new mommy Tasha
Mm-hmm.
and all the things that you do.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Mhm.
So how it's gonna work? We just gonna have a conversation.
Oh,
Need some questions.
I guess I ain't have no questions or nothing. I just know when we talk, it just be flowing. So let's talk about some of these fights you used to get into and like some of the things that you used to do and like, I guess, what triggered you, why did it trigger you, and things like that.
Um, I think my earliest fight is always had to be around my mom. My earliest fight had to be around my mom. Of course you know, but my mom is wrestles with mental illness. And so I knew that I didn't know she had mental illness at an early age, but I knew my mom kind of was different at an early age because when she had depression um, episodes, she wasn't as interactive. She wasn't as fun. You couldn't really ask her for stuff. So I noticed that she was different. And, my mom, and it really triggered when she was getting a divorce. So a lot of my fights, I didn't start like actually physically fighting until middle school. Although I had a lot of built up frustration and anger in elementary school, I didn't really start fighting until middle school. I believe my first fight happened because my mom had her first psychotic episode in middle school, and some of the kids in my neighborhood saw it, went back to school,
Mhm.
started trying to make fun of me, all this stuff. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't fight at that point. The point where I fought was when I was I was in this group called Learning for Life in middle school, and I told my own story about my mom. Very vulnerable. I didn't want to, but I did because other people were being vulnerable. One girl took it upon herself to go and um, tell people that like my my mom was crazy and like not to. Somebody's at the door.
It's okay, girl. It's okay. That's the authenticity of the podcast, girl. Like, stuff don't stop.
Sorry.
It's okay. I can, scratch it out. It's all good.
Um, so yeah, so she went by herself to go say, "Oh, Tasha's mom is crazy." Like just telling it to the school. She told her father because I guess her father saw my mom drop off and was like, "Oh, she's pretty. Is that your friend's mom?" She's like, "No, daddy, her mom's crazy." Like it was all this stuff. Girl, something just snapped. Like it took nothing for me to put my hands, like absolutely nothing for me to put my hands on her. I kind of don't even remember. I kind of don't even remember the transition. I just know I just saw her, and next thing you know, I had her up against the soda machine and I was probably choking her or something when I came back into consciousness. So literally when I fought, every time I fought, I literally would black out and I would not know what I was doing. And
Hmm.
I like came back into consciousness and was like, oh, I'm fighting. So that was like the first time I fought. And that kind of was like the trigger for a lot of fights was my mom or just
Hmm.
certain insecure things people would talk about. And I wasn't, and another trigger was like, I'm not a good talker. I'm not a good instigator. So a lot of
Hmm.
good instigators, but they wasn't good fighters. I wasn't a good instigator. So I didn't fight. I didn't talk. I didn't know how to instigate and make you want to hit me first. My mother always said, go on ahead, let them hit you first. You gotta do. But
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't get them to hit me first. And I do. So I would end up hitting first every single time because I couldn't get the words to get them to hit me. Like, just why are you talking? Just hit me so I won't get y'all for beating you up. But they would never
You
do it.
was really about that life, girl.
No, I really was. I really was not about no talking. Like, yeah, that time it was about my mom. A couple times about my mom. And that time actually, that was the time. The first time I actually got in a fight in middle school was that time, and that was the time I was restrained. Like that fight went to Montgomery County public school system, like all the way up to the school system. Because what happened was after I fought, like I guess I was so belligerent. Like I said, I don't remember that they had to restrain me. And
Mm-hmm.
so this was the fight. I don't know if you remember. This is the fight when four men and the principal took me to a stairwell and I like crossed my legs, put them up to my back,
I
put my
remember that. I
back,
remember that.
and held me there for like an hour,
Mm-hmm.
telling me I had to calm down. And I mean, at that point, I couldn't breathe, so I wasn't saying anything. But I was saying stuff because I was like, wait till my mother get here. She gonna tear all y'all up. That's what I told them.
I remember
But
that too.
I said, that's fine. Y'all can keep me on the floor, but y'all just wait till my mother get here because she gonna tear y'all up. And I got uncles too. So go on and do what you gotta do. What I'm gonna do what I have to do. But I was so like I said what I had to say in the beginning, but I had to calm down because I literally could not breathe. And after that, they all got in trouble by the board because that was legally not allowed. Um, for me particular because I wasn't a special ed student. Those things
Mm-hmm.
fell out of special ed students not on me. But a lot of triggers, yeah, were insecure things, the things that kind of hit pain points in my life. People would talk
Mm-hmm.
about me. Those were things, and I didn't have an outlet because if you turn, I fought in between that plenty of times, but around and one of my last fights was like when I was in 10th or 11th grade. I got jumped.
I remember that. You girl.
I got jumped by four girls in 10th or 11th grade, and they completely set me up. Now that I look back on it, like it was like they literally had to plan it. Like they literally set me up. It's crazy that they set me up, but it was literally a setup. And I told like I'm not trying to fight you right now. I can fight you after basketball season, but right now I can't fight you because I'm not trying to get suspended. So because I had an outlet for my anger, I wasn't really worried about fighting. I wasn't jumping into a fight. I kind of had something to break my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was automatic. Oh, you want to fight? Oh, you got something to say? Oh, it's nothing. In the classroom, out the classroom, at the bus stop. It don't. I mean, one time I remember I was in middle school, we was on the bus. I told her, "Wait till you get off the bus. I'm going to tear you up." And the bus driver took to the school and told us to get off the bus. Brought the principal out and was like, "They're fighting on my school bus." She was like, "Okay, if y'all fight when you get home, you'll get suspended." Guess what I did when I got off the bus? I still fought her. I did not care. There was no barrier. But in high school, I had basketball and I was very serious about my athletics. So I told them, like, listen, we can fight after basketball season, but right now I'm really not about to fight you. That was the first time somebody hit me first. And I had to fight them back at that point because my mother told me, don't let nobody hit you. And then you come home talking about somebody hit you when you hit them back. So at that point,
Right.
I had to fight. Okay. And then the homegirls was talking about, I don't want to fight now. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Now you want to fight because she literally told homegirl, go ahead and do it, Shina. Go ahead and do it. And the girl came up to me and tried to punch me in my face. So I was like, all right, cool. Went ahead, took my backpack off, and was like, all right, well, guess we.
I feel like in that fight, didn't you still win? It was like
I,
four
yes,
against
I
one.
did. So after, like I said, I blacked out because she punched me, and at that point, I was like, okay. I punched her back. She went and ran down the steps. Right. Then the other three girls, the other girl, the main one, the ringleader was like, "Oh, we don't got to fight." I said, "Yes, we do, Jasmine. So we about to fight." She was like, "No, we not." "Oh, yes, we are." Bye bye. That's it. I'm not talking no more. We have to fight now. So they all jumped me. I don't remember, but like I said, I blacked out. I remember coming back into consciousness because a police officer grabbed me up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I came back to consciousness. And I was walking through the hallway, and it was like I was walking through like an award ceremony. Everybody was clapping, like, "Woo, yeah!" Woo. I was like, "What is happening? Why are y'all clapping like that? What is going on?" Everybody was clapping, dapping me up. I didn't know these people dapping me up. I'm like, what? It's because literally I black out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I'm boohoo crying because I can't play basketball. So I'm
Right.
like I'm like ugly face crying because I'm mad. That means I have to go home. So after that, what happened? The mother came and she was like, "Why you in here crying?" Like, I got in trouble. "Why you in here crying?" Da 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 da. I'm like, "I just got jumped." She's like, "No, you didn't." I'm like, "Yes, I did." She's like, "Well, why you ain't beat up?" "Because I didn't get beat up." She was like, "And why do people know I'm your mother? They in here talking about, oh, you taught your mother, you taught her how to fight." That's what my mother said. Like, I don't
Because your
know.
mom will be fighting too. That's why.
Exactly, right? So I was like, I don't know the people and I don't know why they congratulating you on being my mother. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happened. And then after that, after getting jumped, I got suspended for 21 days. So it was just a whole bunch.
Dang.
So
I remember all of that. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
yeah, that was my first fight and like my last fight. And in between, there was a little bit more. Boys, girl, everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First and last. But that's what it was. Just like triggers. And I didn't have any stopping mechanisms. It was 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball was like the thing. It made me think about something else. But it was like when somebody triggered me, when somebody pressed the button and talked about an insecure thing in my life, it was no barrier. It was nothing that could take my mind off of it because I felt like it was true.
Mm-hmm.
I had to defend myself. I had to defend my truth.
Right, girl. And now I just, when I see you fight, like in prayer, it's just crazy because like you said that you black out and it just made me see you when you pray, like how your eyes are closed and how you be just punching your hand and you still like have authority in what you do, and it's like you're still fighting.
At
And
the,
girl, like the things that come at you, it's like you're still getting jumped even now, like what the devil tries to throw at you, and
all the time. Yeah.
you still win, girl.
Yeah.
You might not even remember what you say, but it's like you still win out here and what you do and what you say. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just crazy.
Right. Because I just feel like, and it's not, I'm not a extra believer, meaning like, I'm not out here about to throw scripture at you. I don't speak in KJV. Like, I don't do any of that. But the truth of the matter is, you need a defense because there are insecure points in my, I do still have insecure. My mother is still dealing with mental illness, like at
Mm-hmm.
my life. And so with that being said, like, that is still an insecure point in my life that the devil uses often.
Mm-hmm.
But within 3 months, my mom had sepsis, had 3 blood transfusions, had a whole bunch of tooth infection that went up into her head. Like, so many things happened. But because now, like, I'm not childish, so I'm not out here fighting. But the enemy still knows that I have some insecure issues in my life, and I don't like to give the enemy so much like props. But God also knows that I have some places in my life that are insecure, and He wants to build me up, build up my faith. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so with that being said, I have to, that's my defense. My defense is the word of God. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
and I have to just speak back what I know is true. The truth is that yes, these things are happening in my life, and no, I don't know how to fix them. I don't know how to fix them, but I know the one who has already fixed them. I
Amen.
who knows the beginning and the ending and all everything in the middle. So me trying to go and put my hands on it, which I still sometimes try to do, and fix everything and fight in my own strength, that's not gonna do anything but wear me out, make me mad, and make me want to literally go fight somebody because I don't have the power to just sit here and change my mother and to rewire her brain. I don't have the power to sit here and fight systemic racism. I don't have the power to sit here and go out on the streets in Baltimore and stop the gun violence and stop the drugs and stop the poor education system. But because those are the things that really, really frustrate me. Like,
Right.
seriously, especially the systemic racism in Baltimore. It really frustrates me, but I know what I can do. I have a defense. I know that that's not the truth, so I don't feel like I need to personally defend it. I know what the truth is, and when you don't have
Mm-hmm.
a barrier, yes, you going straight knuck if you buck, like straight buck, flesh to flesh, instead of understanding that this is not a flesh battle. Because after those fights, I would be wore out, tired, go to sleep to the next day. It takes a lot out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And spiritually, it takes a lot out of you. But the thing is that you always have the opportunity to fill your cup. When you're fighting like that, then you got to go take that grudge to the next day. You got to have beef at school. You got to do all this. Like, it's a lot that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's a lot that, not that there's not a lot that comes with spiritually fighting, but at the end, you know you already won, regardless of what comes to you. But when you out in the streets fighting, you don't know what's next. You don't know how the person gonna come at you next. You don't know the grudge they're holding. You don't know. So it's just a different. It's just a shift because I'm not soft. I'm not. You're not about to come at me sideways or my child or my family. You're not
Mm-hmm.
still call Tasha. Like it's still about that life, but not in that way. Like because it don't work. I don't play by my kids. I don't play by my cousins, nephews. I don't play by none of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a shift in mindset. It's a shift in understanding. It's a shift in just total culture. I can say one thing. A fight that I had this season was next door. They were trying to build some halfway house next door to my house. And when I found out, because the guy came over here and he was like, "Oh, your new neighbors are gonna be great. They don't smoke or drink or anything." And I'm like, "What type of introduction is that? What do you mean? Like, I was just waiting."
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he was saying he was doing like a little halfway house. People that are on hard drugs, not marijuana, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, would come there after they are sober 30 days and live in a house unmonitored. So it's not like a halfway house where they have social workers and house managers. No, it's just after you got a detox program, you come here living with your homies for X amount of days. And I was like, oh no. So I went to go tell one of my neighbors because she's very involved with the community association, who told the president. And then, girl, next thing you know, it's the whole community out on the block, and they are fighting, quote unquote, with them about what they will and will not accept in this neighborhood. And don't you know that they're not next door anymore? That they
Mm-hmm.
end up having to sell the house. And I didn't throw no fist. Nobody did, but we came together as a community and said, no, you cannot do that here. It's just a shift. It's just a shift because that just wasn't appropriate. There's so many families and kids in this neighborhood that wasn't appropriate fit for this block. And another thing is that they snuck it in. They didn't try to tell anybody. They're talking about, I didn't know there was a community association when he said he grew up in this neighborhood. So it was just like a lot of contradictory things, and you just had to confront it head on, which confrontation can be really hard for me. If I can say that, it's still hard for me because I still do want to fight. I don't want anybody to think like, oh, she don't want to fight no more. Yes, I do. I don't get it twisted. That's why confrontation can be so hard for me these days because I still want to punch people. I still do. But I know that that's not going to fix it. Not
Right.
him or me.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's not the way to go. I mean, have you ever seen somebody pick on your kid at the playground?
Girl, I will a whole child, okay?
Okay.
A fight a whole child, my plan.
Have you ever seen a kid who was making fun of Matthias talking about, he got a baby list, but they were talking about his list. And I said, Matthias, you do not have to play with anybody that will talk or make fun of you. You don't have to. And I said it loudly like that. But I said that so that Matthias can say, I don't have to play with you if you're going to make fun of me.
Right.
And because really, okay, I want to say, you better get your mother out here.
Mm.
If you know what's good. Because you're not about to sit him and bully my child like that. And his sister was with him, and his sister corrected him like, that's not nice. You're making fun of him. You're bullying him. And she corrected him. But, like, come on, y'all. Like, if I'm completely honest, I'm going to be honest. I still want to throw hands sometimes. A lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But it take the difference between Tasha, the child Tasha, even up to college, because I lied. I got a little altercation in college. But the difference between that Tasha and this Tasha is I have a barrier. I have a trust and a hope that somebody defends me, and I don't have to necessarily do it in that way myself.
Yeah.
You feel like you're your only defense. Oh, you're throwing bows, okay? Because you're the only one that's going to defend you. But I don't function out of that survival mode anymore. Because I can thrive now because I know that somebody has my back.
Right.
Out here throwing bows left and right.
Yeah. And you made me think about since you were talking about your community, the one time where you were praying in your neighborhood, because I know I pray in my neighborhood sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you prayed in your neighborhood, next thing you know, there was gunshots.
Oh
And it's
yes.
like
Oh
even now, like when you are fighting in the spirit, how I don't know, repercussions. Like
yeah.
the enemy gets so mad.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you know what? It's just gonna make us fight harder for our community, our family,
Mhm.
and we have people that back us up. So don't think we're doing this by ourselves.
Right.
Like it, you are so quick to text the family and say, "Hey, I need you to pray for this," and we're on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I,
Yes, girl.
yeah. I remember I was praying for neighborhood, and literally, like, my neighbors are 5 steps across the street, 3 crosses over. A boy got shot and killed right on his stoop.
Man.
I was like, what? Oh, we knocking and bucking the spirit out here. Let me go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? That was wild. That was very, that has, I've lived in Baltimore for since 2009, and that has never happened. So I was like, wow. And my neighborhood is quiet. I don't,
Right. It
so
is quiet.
yeah, I'm just like, what? Yeah. And also, I haven't told, I think I told you guys this, but I haven't told many people this, but also at the beginning of the pandemic, when all this racism stuff was going on, police were at my door, and they said that they were here because they were concerned for me and my children because my husband be beating us.
What?
Yes, somebody lied and told the CPS that I wasn't, because Trey went to the door, right? And
Mm-hmm.
oh, is everything okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm just here because somebody's threatening your life. And so Trey was like, oh, come here. The police need to see you. And then I was like, hi, sir, what's going on? And he was like, I just need to check to see if you and your kids are okay. There's been a threat made. I said, threat made by who? He said, your husband. I said, what? He said, yeah, someone called and said your husband has been abusive towards you and your children. I'm like, who? Trey? No. So, like, and that was in the same season that I was, so, like, war praying,
Mm-hmm.
going in. And I'm like, oh, this is like, I declare war, because this is in the wrong climate to be calling the police on a black man,
Right.
playing games like that. Anything could have happened. He could
Right.
have arrested him and whatever. But luckily, Trey, he's a very calm, chill, relaxed person. So he doesn't come off
Mm-hmm.
as, what you doing at my door, and what you talking. He's not gonna cuss you. He's not gonna do any of that. So
Right.
luckily that, and even I know that doesn't help. Some police officers, that won't even help, right? To be calm and
Mm-hmm.
collected. But yeah, even that happened after the gunshot. Then a couple months later, the police showed up at my door.
Man.
That okay. I want to say another word, but that made me so mad. Like, I wanted to say who did it, and I'm about to fight. Okay. But when I cried, and I went downstairs in my basement, and I prayed and prayed and prayed. I said, God, I don't care who did it. I just thank you for protecting me. Because at the end of the day, I don't need to know who did it. I don't. I just
Right.
protecting me and my family, and I thank you. And I pray for that person if they really were concerned. Because kids be screaming loud. So maybe they heard Matthias screaming loud one day.
Right.
But at the end of the day, and also pray for that person. Because a lot of times we want to pray for other people. We don't want to pray, and we want to pray for other people. Oh, they need prayer, but it really is you. So
Yep.
I also want to pray for. I said, so thank you, and thank you for just the change in my heart, that I ain't go out in this neighborhood and knock on doors and see who did it. Okay, because again, I wanted to fight. To be honest, it's not a good feeling. You feel very vulnerable, very naked when the police come to your door and tell you someone has made that claim. They would have to know my address, right? Like, that's a very intimate thing. So it made me upset, very upset. But again, shifting mindset um, really helped that. And I think that in different seasons, my fighting is different, because I'm not always strong in my prayer fight every season. And therefore, some seasons I got to reach out and say, hey, I really need you to pray for me for this. I'm not knocking if you bucking every season, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be like, I can't emotionally handle this right now. And I need someone else to pray for me, with me, what may have you. And I reach out for help, because, I mean, in every season, everybody doesn't perform the same. And life takes you through seasons, ups, downs, and all around.
Yep.
And
And that's strong for you too. That shows strength for you to realize I can't do it, but I have someone who can do it for me.
yeah, like when I was going through depression with dementia, in that season, I couldn't even open my Bible. I couldn't even listen to music. Like, I couldn't find music to listen to. I just couldn't do it. It just was
Mm-hmm.
so crippled. I felt so dark. The only thing, again, because I went through depression in high school too, and I was suicidal. But the difference between this time was like, I have hope. I have a defense. I know there's someone out there that has my back. So I'm not crippled to defeat anymore. Right? I can be in darkness, but I see the light. I know it's there. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore I maneuver differently. I fight differently. Hey, Ree, I need a playlist. Hey, so and so, can you do Bible study for me? Can I come to about can and even if I couldn't come, can you just, you know, put me on the phone when you're at Bible study? Something like that. Asking for help when you know that you are in a weak season, in a dark season, in a dry season, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I think sometimes as Christians we like to break it up, right? Think your emotions, your mental, your spiritual is all different categories. They may be, but they're interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're mentally struggling, you're also going to be spiritual.
Come on now.
You're emotionally struggling, mental, spiritual, physically, probably too. You're not going to want to work out as much. You're not going to want to eat right. You don't have
Girl.
motivation to.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your whole person. And we try to break that down. And when we break that down, that's when we break ourselves down. We have to understand that different seasons call for different war tactics. You're
Mm-hmm.
always on the front lines. You're not always David slinging the rocks. You're not
Mm-hmm.
slinging the rocks. Sometimes you cheering him on, or sometimes you not in the picture at all. Sometimes somebody else is fighting the battle for you. Because a lot of times, I know for me as a believer and someone who struggled a lot in childhood, one of the hardest things that I had to realize, or ignorant things, if I can say, that the church would say to me is that you need to learn how to struggle. Baby, I've been struggling. That's
Right.
what I need to learn. And I think that's harsh to say to Black people in general, because I think I can say for myself, I've experienced a lot of trauma in racism, and that it's very ignorant to say to a Black person, especially as a Christian. I know they mean well, but to say you need to learn how to struggle. Jesus struggled. I understand he struggled, right? But it's how he struggled. It's the war tactics that he used. Now you need to learn how to struggle, as in you need to experience struggle, baby. I've been experiencing struggle. What the church needs to teach us is how to war, how to be better in our fighting, how to be better when we are not emotionally in the right place, how to be war ready in every season in life. Poor, rich, healthy, unhealthy, whatever, disease, undiseased, whatever it is, because we're going to experience it. We can live
Right.
a life like, oh, I believe in Christ. I'm going to have money. I'm going to have all this. I'm going to be in good health all the time. But that's not necessarily true.
Right.
So if we
That
truly
yeah,
have to
girl.
understand how our war tactics look in different seasons. When you're a new mom, right? And you come home from the hospital and you're like, whose child is this? And what
Mm-hmm.
child? How do you war then? I felt bad when I brought my kid home as a new mom, and I felt like I was losing my relationship with God because I couldn't get in the Bible or pray as much as I wanted to by myself. Like I had to be by myself talking to God. So just teaching those spiritual life skills is so important, in learning how to be better in different seasons and really growing up, not only spiritually, mentally, emotionally too. It's important.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation I want to have with you about how the church teaches us that you can you shouldn't be going through this. Like,
Right.
with
Thank
mental illness, like
Yeah.
you pray, but you should be receiving healing now. And if you don't, it's something that you're doing.
Girl, that's
Yeah,
so
we'll touch on that because Lord Jesus, let me
that's
tell
a
you.
whole nother conversation. How I was told I wasn't fasting and praying enough and all that. I lost
Mm-hmm.
so much weight fasting and praying for my mom. Daniel fasting every month. I think when
Mm-hmm.
we first met, I was Daniel fasting for my mother.
Yep.
College.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll call
Conversation.
you back about that one. Yes, girl. But thank you so much, Tasha,
You're
for
welcome.
just sharing that. And because I know if Jesus can save me and save you and take us out from what we used to do,
I,
that anybody's heart can be
then
changed.
Jesus is real.
Hello? Okay.
Then Jesus
Yes.
is real. That's
Yes, girl. Well, I love you so much.
all
I'll
right.
talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye bye. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that I had with Tasha and how she went from fighting folks to fighting the devil. You hear me? But yes, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Being a Better Me. There's going to be some more with Tasha. There's going to be some more with some of my other friends. But you guys have a good night. Bye-bye.